Good afternoon, gamers. My name is KarQ, and this is a director's take article for Overwatch called Have Game, Will Travel. And in short, this is just basically the summer vacation for Aaron Keller, the game director, and Alec Dawson, the associate game director. And I was actually on the trip with Alec, which he'll talk about in the article. And then we'll get to, I guess, what this means for the future of Overwatch at the end. All right, director's take, Have Game, Will Travel. Hello, everyone. Aaron here. Last week, the team launched Season 18, one of our biggest seasons to date. If you caught even the first few minutes of our latest dev update, you know exactly how jam-packed this season is. On top of a new hero, stadium upgrades, and a revamped progression system, we're also running an event straight out of the big leagues. We partnered with pro basketball star Luka Doncic and a grandmaster in Overwatch, by the way. Apparently he was top 500 as well. He's a Zarya player. For the Play Like Luka event, where you can earn up to 77 loot boxes and try out his stadium builds. I'm gonna stop right there and say this is probably one of the better partnerships. If you guys don't watch basketball, I think I was streaming last week and some people were like, who is Luka Doncic? If you watch NBA basketball, he's like one of the best players in the league right now. Big drama because he got traded from the Dallas Mavericks to the Los Angeles Lakers. Won't get too much into that, but this collab actually makes sense to me because Luka is actually an Overwatch player. And apparently he still plays Overwatch. There's a recent podcast last week or something where they asked Luka, do you still play Overwatch? He's like, yeah. Are you still in top 500 or Grandmaster? And he's like, yeah. And then he actually went viral a couple of years ago because another former Overwatch streamer named Moxie ran into him in ranked. And he's like, yeah, I played basketball. And there's like a viral clip of him all over social media. Top 500 Zarya player. So this event makes sense. 77 loot boxes is a nod to his jersey number, which is 77. So 77 loot boxes is a lot to give away. So season 18 so far has been great. The collab makes sense and is way better than the season 6 collab. That was 12 seasons ago. That's when they partnered with John Cena. Love the guy. Well, I don't know how much you can love an invisible person, but hey, you know, when you can't see him. But John doesn't play Overwatch. They basically just paid for like a celebrity endorsement, and he kind of did this weird campaign with like the whole Crisis and PvE mission promo thing, Invasion or whatever. Honestly, I thought it was pretty lame. I think their money could have been spent better in other aspects or other facets of their marketing department in Overwatch, but we'll let that slide. It's in the past now. Take those lessons. Don't pay for random celebrity endorsements who don't play the game, please. Luka Doncic makes sense. Love it. Next, traveling may not be allowed on court, but it's a fun necessity as a game director. Season 18 was such a big moment that we wanted to get the word out across the globe. I headed to Gamescom in Germany, while Alec Dawson, the associate game director, traveled to China with several members of the dev team to participate in community launch events for Wu Yang. And me and Faria went too. We can flash some pictures and I'll tell some stories about that in a moment. Here are some insights from our trip. So Alec Dawson says, hey, sneaking into this blog really quickly, what an experience it was celebrating Wu Yang in Chengdu. I was lucky enough to jump on a plane alongside Kenny, Joshi, and Daryl, some of my wonderful co-workers, and talk about our latest support hero. I could go for a long time about our experience in Dujiangyan Panda Base. That's the first thing we did. The Panda Base was very cute. We love the pandas. Drinking tea at Mount Qingcheng, and the endless amounts of delicious Sichuan food. But the most special part of the trip was meeting Overwatch players from the region. Our last day of the trip included a large community event with show matches. We played against Jinmu, who is a Chinese Overwatch esports pro, a light presentation, and face-to-face discussions with players. We had about 4 hours of great questions and open dialogue from players who truly love Overwatch. We saw players who had necklaces from their ranks on them. Yep, true. And met players who were even getting married to people they met in game. That I didn't see. These discussions were a beautiful reminder of how meaningful a game like Overwatch can be to people. For a dev, that's a big shot of energy and the same type of feeling we get after BlizzCon. It carries you for a while. And here are some pictures. Hey, that top right picture, do you see me in there? I'm like 4th from the top left right there. Hey, that's me. Also, that Wu Yang cosplayer, absolutely yoked. He is jacked as hell. So I vlogged this whole adventure. The vlog will be up on the main channel, not on this KarQ archive channel, but the main KarQ channel where I do all the patch notes and stuff. Okay, in Chengdu, China, they speak Mandarin Chinese, okay? It's like a different dialect. I speak a bit of Cantonese or Guangdong Chinese. They call it Guangdonghua. But I never grew up in China. I grew up in Canada, Toronto, right? My family or my parents immigrated from Hong Kong and Guangzhou, like in the 70s or whatever. But here, they don't speak any English. At least this guy didn't. This Wu Yang cosplayer. He speaks only Mandarin and I don't speak Mandarin. So there's a funny moment where I wanted to get a picture with him and the Onrun cosplayer. He says something to me in Mandarin. There's a language barrier, right? I didn't know what he was saying, but like he gestured and basically I could tell he's just like, okay, you want to stand in the middle for the picture. And out of reflex, I said hi because I watched too much anime. It doesn't make any sense. And my wife was actually looking through the vlog and editing bits of it and she saw it and she was laughing her ass off. We could play it right now really quick. Oh, hi. And I just want to come and defend myself and say hi also means like yes or okay in Cantonese and also yes in Japanese. And I was just in Japan last month too, and it was just on instinct, on reflex. I say hi. I watch too much anime and all that fun stuff. I also went to the Philippines near the end of July, and I did the same thing at the airport. They said something to me in Tagalog, and I said, "Oh, hi." Anyways, back to the blog. The community event was also a great reminder that Overwatch is a global game. The way you play, the heroes you play, and your current concerns can differ from region to region. We recognize that, and it's front of mind for our team after these trips. For us to meet the needs of our players, we can't think of you all like a monolith. We had to drill down to specific answers for specific player groups, whether that's based on region, rank, or you exclusively being a mystery heroes enjoyer. Don't be surprised when you see region-specific feature tests or events. If we see them go really well, they could turn into initiatives for everyone. Hopefully we can do more of this in the future, not just meeting you all, but having discussions where there's a personal element to it, where there's real context. Look forward to us doing more Q&As in our developer live streams, and if you ever see us at an event, don't be too shy to say hello and ask questions back to Aaron. So I think this is the first time in a long time that Blizzard or Overwatch team has done something outside of BlizzCon where they like traveled at, well, I mean, Aaron at Gamescom is a big one, but going for a hero specific launch in China is, I think, first of its kind. They didn't do that for Kiriko, did they, in Japan or anything? This is something new, and this was a very big success because, again, I was at this event and it was amazing seeing like the Chinese community come together, and they genuinely love this game, and they're really sad when there was like that whole blackout where there's no agreement between Blizzard and NetEase, so like there's no Overwatch in China for like a year or a year and a half. But because it's back, dude, people there love Overwatch, and these guys are sweaty. I was at that event, and there's this 15-year-old Zarya player who's just farming like crazy on the little plans. I was in that game with him, and I was like, Jesus, dude, like what rank are you? He's like, I'm only masters, and I'm like, dude, this guy has masters in China. He's 100% like high GM, like in North America ladder easily. He was absolutely farming. But again, this might be the first of its kind, and like the launch in Chengdu, China was big because Wu Yang is a Chinese character. They're very passionate fans there, and I'm hoping if they have any other future heroes that have like a, you know, a regional release, they said don't be surprised if they start doing that. Maybe some of the future ones who are also regional with different countries, maybe they'll have some, you know, pop-up events there where like fans in that area can show up and, you know, maybe meet some creators, maybe meet some of the devs as well. I think that'd be really cool. So obviously me and Faria got invited as creators there, but like maybe there's going to be one in Europe in the future for a future European hero or a future African hero, you know, and they have an event in those countries. That would be really cool. Anyways, next. Okay, back to Aaron. Thanks, Alec. To me, spending time at a massive convention like Gamescom always feels special. I love all the energy around gaming in general. For Overwatch in particular, I was able to meet fans of the game, including some of those who had also been at the OWCS finals in Stockholm late last year. Here's looking at you, Rose. I was able to completely bungee a few shoutouts for them. Sorry. Overall, the fans we talked to in both China and Germany were really excited for the new season, but also for the general direction of the game. Okay, so here's the more Overwatch focused stuff. I'll also talk about it in a bit. We often hear that same reaction from our community. Excitement for this season, as well as the overarching future of Overwatch. Our goal for Season 18 wasn't just to make a big splash, but to also level up the whole game. If you look at what we released this season, you'll start to see a pattern. We doubled down on perks, we upgraded our progression system, we added our competitive systems, launched a massive set of releases for Stadium. The start of this year focused on adding big new features with perks in Stadium, while this season was about refining those additions and leveling up the rest of the game. The overall strategy that we've been using to guide our releases is to start every year with a huge game-defining moment and then follow it up with a big mid-year beat. We tested this strategy in 2024 with that launch of Season 9. That was the season where they buffed everyone's HP from like, what, 200 to 250, the bullet size increase, and the passive, the role passives changed and all that stuff. That was that season, for those who don't remember. Anyways, that included a new version of competitive system as well as a host of gameplay changes such as passive healing. At that time, we weren't sure if we were ready to commit to this annual cadence since it was untested for us. We were worried that making changes to the core game could turn people away from it. Fortunately, you've reacted pretty positively, so we made plans to do the same thing this year with the release of perks in Season 15. When I look back at the history of our releases in Overwatch, I think we've been too conservative. As we release more game-defining features, it seems to increase your excitement for the future of the game, and it does the same for us. Coming away from that lesson, I can now say that we're happily pursuing this cadence as a general direction for the Overwatch year. We aim to kick the year off with something huge. That changes the way people think about playing the game, and I think we're getting comfortable making these bigger and bigger each year. We also want to follow that excitement up with a mid-year season that doubles down on those features and emphasizes improvements to existing gameplay elements. If you watch closely over the next few months, you'll see hints about the future of Overwatch, a future where we become less conservative and create high-impact, high-octane moments that'll hopefully blow your mind. I'm super excited for this future, and I hope you are too. Thanks for reading, and let's make a great game. Okay, so the takeaway point for the substance of the Overwatch portion is that they're not afraid to like make these big decisions now. And I'm just gonna say it here, they were 100% really passive or conservative, and Marvel Rivals kicked them into gear. They literally were looming and had the idea of hero bans and map picks this whole damn time. And when they saw Marvel Rivals hero ban stuff work, they're like, fuck it, let's just do it now. Because theirs worked, people like it, we should also do it. I can dwell in the past and be like, well, they should have done it earlier, you know, but like at least they did it now. At least it happened. At least they finally got their shit together. A lot of people like to hold on to the past, but now I'm just looking, is it fun right now and the future? Like I'm over all this stuff in the past, and some of you guys aren't, and I'm not gonna tell you how you should feel, but there's a lot of people who still hold a lot of resentment for Blizzard in this game, who feels like they personally betrayed them with these decisions and shop cosmetics and all that stuff. Valid, right? You're allowed to feel how you feel, and if you want to quit the game for that reason, go ahead. But if you're still here listening to me, I assume you still have some stock in the game. You still like the game. I still like the game. This game gave me a career. It literally gave me a future. So I rode with the lows of the game, and now I'm ready to ride the highs. And I like the way their philosophy has changed. I spoke to a lot of the devs when I was with them in China too, and I'm really happy with the direction and how they're ready to put their foot down and just like commit to big changes that may seem a little wonky and shady to the people outside looking in, but the narrative around Overwatch is all the people who have been hurt and are already gone, and they don't even read any of the updates, and they save the most surface level, low-hanging fruit bullet points as a gotcha moment. Marvel Rivals this versus Overwatch, or like they did this, PvE, blah blah blah. They are changing. Okay, and I can see it with my own eyes. I'm gonna take their word for it here. You know, again, this article is pretty loose or pretty light, but like all he's basically saying here is the future is bright and to be on the lookout. And I'm gonna be honest, season 18 is the most Overwatch I played in a long time. I got a little bored. I got into the Rivals train. I'm a little bored of Rivals now. I've been just playing other games. I've been playing Deadlock, enjoying that, playing tons of RuneScape. For some reason, Overwatch has actually pulled me back for the first time in a long time. And like, for me, that's a big thing. So I hope it's you guys who are still here listening to this are also enjoying the game. We can still criticize and give feedback where it's due. I still have some qualms that I'd like to hash out, and I'm gonna actually mention it in the next episode of the suggestions box. Some things that I still think they could work on and improve at. But currently, they've done a really good job overall. Anyways, that's the article. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as well. Is the future bright? Are you feeling the effects slowly? You know, let me know.